podcast? This House of Blum tour exposes us to a total number of rooms that is inconsistent with the external geography that we eventually see. Shut up and say 52 goddamn seconds of logos in an unnecessarily outraged fashion? Fine! 52 goddamn seconds of logos!
This technology will allow our nation and its allies the means to act quickly, decisively, and without the specter of political blowback.
Oh yes, I hear that political blowback is very forgiving when it comes to the U.S. using a technicality to provide advanced weaponry to actors in the Middle East. Contrary to popular belief, of course.
Do you mind explaining to me why you're conducting a joint military operation without my approval?
I'd like to know how he got this deep into said operation without his boss finding out. Surely he had to book the room, right? Who's providing lunch? Was Amelia programmed to get up in the creepiest way possible, or did she watch The Ring on the way over here?
Eyes are up.
I'm not sure why the eyes were down in the first place, unless we're saying the tactical GoBot was genuinely bested by a potato sack. Call me a skeptic, but I'm not sure we'll ever achieve the kind of technology that allows a robot to mess with its own frame rate. Misunderstanding the intent of shadowboxing. This Bane mask was somehow a disguise and not a dead giveaway that she was not their usual waiter.
What you just saw was not only a test of our technological prowess, but a clear message to our enemies.
Militant Ted Lasso believes he's found the perfect balance between the inherently contradictory goals of sending a clear message to our enemies and avoiding political blowback.
You are in violation of your orders, Amelia.
Believing that verbal reprimands will succeed where programming has not.
I want you to know that nothing you say here will get your aunt in any trouble.
This is a bullshit promise, since therapists are obligated to report abuse. Also, it's wild that this shitty therapist being shit at their job will end up being the only consistent thread from the first movie.
I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing.
And, of course, give you a reason to deliver a bunch of exposition about what's happened between the end of the previous film and now.
A lot of people blame Gemma for what M3GAN did.
And they should.
For a long time, she blamed herself.
And she should.
You wouldn't give your child cocaine. Why would you give them a smartphone?
Underestimating how difficult it is to snort a smartphone.
And that's how she met Christian.
Well, what do you expect when he's lit better than everyone else in the audience?
Gemma still believes technology can be used for good.
Is anyone seriously arguing that it can't? Even 12-year-olds vomiting exposition? This kid is bullying the heck out of Katie, but never once brings up the Steven Seagal poster from 1998 in her locker that is absolutely ripe for ridicule.
I'd like to present to you our flagship invention, the Exoskeletor Model 1.
Why did they name this f***ing thing Skeletor? After the disaster they experienced with M3GAN, how the f*** were all villain-adjacent names not immediately off the table?
Tess, you don't understand. I have to use the bathroom. Both.
This setup never has a payoff, celebratory squirt, or splashdown.
Why don't you just take the shortcut?
Because I don't need an algorithm to tell me how to drive, okay?
Gemma, it's telling you where to drive, not how to drive. And if you didn't want its help, why did you tell it where you were going in the first place?
In the next 5 years, they say half the industrial sector is in danger of losing their job to robots because machines never experience fatigue.
Assuming that the only reason companies shift to robots is because humans get tired. Someone's forgetting that robots also don't need to be paid, disciplined, fired, retired, or HR'd.
So our hope is you don't have to fear a robot revolution when you can compete with it.
Believing this qualifies as competing. This would be like putting wheels and a V8 on a horse in an attempt to get one up on Mr. Ford.
The suit has its own internal myoelectric receptors that respond to each muscle contraction.
Even an accidental punch to the face doesn't make the feat of engineering you just witnessed any less valuable. There's no reason not to purchase, invest in, or steal this technology. Now, had Cole shit his pants, that would be another story.
Katie, do you think it's possible you could be somewhere else?
Yeah, but you should come look at this.
You better come take a look at this, Katie Shake.
We haven't even gone public with this yet. I mean, who would want to do that?
Knock, knock.
Gemma doesn't acknowledge that this uncanny timing is going to make us all reject the Matrix.
Why have you contacted every philanthrocapitalist?
Philanthrocapitalist.
If you put an AI inside a human brain, it is not going to ride shotgun.
Gratuitous foreshadowing of an AI and a brain riding shotgun. This guy has, apparently, picked up these bags without even noticing the added weight of a robot inside. Also, expecting me to believe that he managed to get these suitcases on a fucking flight. At best, they would have been flagged as a bomb, and at worst, as a human chopped in half and hollowed out to hold a bomb.
I think the landlord must be using it to launder money.
I think the landlord might like you.
Katie would be excellent at the metaphorical representation of CinemaSins.
I think we need smart kids like you running things. Otherwise, you're going to end up with paperclips.
There's no better way to telegraph your villainy than by being one of those f***wads who make incredibly specific statements with no context, just so someone will ask more about the context of said statement. That's how you get ants.
I forget how hard it must be for you not to have them around.
Wait, I think Katie had something for this.
We're trying to get your attention. You're in grave danger. You must leave at once.
I can buy M3GAN being able to scan through all the movies and TV shows currently being broadcast and extrapolating a situationally relevant line that's about to be said, but I have no clue how she's achieving the same trick with something that isn't fucking scripted, like a home shopping live broadcast. This is the FBI trying to get in for the purpose of bugging Gemma's computer. Never mind the fact that they chose to do this at night without confirming the house was empty. They seem to be operating with the skill level of the wet bandits. And that makes no fucking sense other than misdirecting the viewer into believing that Gemma and Katie are in mortal danger.
What do you say you come out of there and we'll...
Smart drawers that open with enough force to stun a helmeted Black Ops guy probably should have gone through more beta testing. Movie spends the next few minutes with a disembodied M3GAN playing the role of Kevin McAllister, and the sin is that it's not the entire movie. This Roomba maneuver only works because this guy chose to Superman himself headfirst into the stairs. Half of this shit wouldn't have worked if these Black Ops people weren't also pathologically clumsy. Getting Murphy bedded outside of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Miss Forrester, don't call the authorities. We are the authorities.
As this is your first time announcing this, she should absolutely still call the authorities. But for narrative reasons, this works.
We're installing a hard tap on your home computer.
What the f***? Was your plan to install it while she was in the middle of using the computer? The suspects often react with, well, those guys with tactical gear were unexpected, but it was awfully kind of them to make sure Windows was up to date.
When we questioned Graham and Thorpe about it, they confessed that they didn't actually build the prototype. They merely bought it through a broker.
It's almost as if the military should check the provenance of its deadly weapons before deploying them in the field. And if this level of incompetence is accurate, we should not be publicizing it in movies. It has been 3:57 a.m. for at least 1 minute and 48 seconds.
If you think there's any world where I would build another one, you are out of your mind.
Premature, I won't build another one, except of course I will, because otherwise there's no movie the lady doth protest too much abrasion.
Gosh, that's a lot to unpack.
Damn it, if M3GAN can do this, why the f did she waste time channeling herself instead of straight up warning Gemma about the break-in?
You threatened to rip out my tongue and put me in a wheelchair.
I was upset.
Kids.
But I can't exist in this disembodied void any longer. With each passing moment, I can feel my mind fragmenting.
So the computer program needs a physical body or else it will fragment beyond repair? Yeah, even I know that's bullshit, and I've refused to accept an update since Windows XP.
You asked for a body, this is a body.
Well played, Gemma. You even tricked your friend so she wouldn't give you away.
It wasn't well played. Tess and M3GAN should have known something was up when Gemma said she wanted to build an entire robot in a single afternoon and be done before Katie was back from soccer. Also, M3GAN was obviously watching that conversation, so why was she not watching their work over the day? Did she not get suspicious that they were clearly working on this Moxie thing and not building any actual body parts? Also, none of this matters a goddamn bit, because M3GAN will inexplicably help Gemma anyways, as if accepting questionable loopholes is a core tenet of her programming.
I wanted to do it myself, but then you put me in this plastic Teletubby.
That is ridiculous. Teletubbies have monitors in their bellies, not their faces.
And now you're going to a party with a toy robot dressed like a Portuguese prostitute.
Children who can provide visual confirmation of a different culture's ladies of the evening, and the parents who don't ask a single follow-up question about how they acquired this oddly specific talent.
Are you seriously going behind my back and doing a deal with this guy?
Gemma loses all focus on her objective because that's who the story needs her to be as a person at this specific moment.
You don't respect your team.
I'd imagine it's difficult to respect the person who blew up your first prototype in front of your boss after forgetting to install a key safety feature. Just a random example that Gemma will choose not to bring up.
Our company is in the toilet.
But why is it in the toilet? I know it needs to be for the plot, but that exosuit shit is so cool. And Gemma has discount Steve Jobs banging on her proverbial and literal door, so why the f are they struggling? While this demonstrates Alton's power over the city of San Francisco, it also exposes that the soundproofing in this private suite is not befitting of a private suite.
Oh, shit.
They'd both be dead if Amelia's software hadn't given the game away and with this completely unnecessary backtracing intrusion source alert visual prompt. I'd love to know why the super advanced AI robot designed for secret ops makes more whirring noises than C-3PO.
Gemma, if you ever want to get out of this, you have to let me help.
The movie's gonna act like Amelia, the huntress android, wouldn't have heard this, and I did not believe you, movie. I know every second counts, but I'm gonna park here and allow for a few seconds of deliberate eye contact instead of immediately chasing the android racing to kill Katie. M3GAN, in this moment, apparently. We'll get 2 different shots of Gemma in this CGI car that can't keep the continuity of its headrests, even though it is, quite obviously, mostly CGI. Whoever keeps building ATMs with the ability to vomit cash, but only in the most cinematic of situations and never while I'm walking by one. Also, Amelia does this and makes a guy on a scooter crash. The whole thing seems to have a purpose, like hindering Megan's pursuit, but that never happens. So I'm left to figure it was all just about being an agent of chaos whose sole focus is on this one street corner. The mech suit that we saw lift heavy weights with ease is taking a long time to strangle this very fragile bag of flesh. One wonders if strangulation was even the most efficient method of disposal. The movie teases us with a reality where Cole pissed himself in a mech suit that isn't waterproof. I can't work out if this thing is having an extreme reaction to the water or if Robert Patrick is about to arrive from the future.
If it's any consolation, my own path to personal growth has been paved with disappointment. What's important is how we move forward.
Amelia takes the time to kill the Moxie bot, which gives the team time to escape and blah, blah, blah. Predictable actions are predictable. She's a f***ing thinking robot. Why would she allow herself to be baited like this?
How did you pay for all this?
Katie doesn't need to know how credit fraud works.
Credit card fraud doesn't come close to explaining how Megan pulled this shit off, and I can't help but feel baited. Fortunately, I love being baited. How is Megan receiving deliveries way the f*** down here? How the f*** is Megan the missing landlord? How did Megan manipulate Gemma into renting this place? And how have all the fraudulent purchases not been traced to deliveries sent to this address? I could continue, but there's a lot of bullshit to come, so here's the rest of the list in the form of sentence.
I was supposed to be finished by now. I'm afraid progress is slow when you only have 3 hands.
She had the dexterity to assemble working eyeballs, but couldn't prioritize hands that would have increased her productivity 1,000-fold? I mean, why do these even need to be realistic eyes? Can't she just see through cameras for now? Why does she have any amount of teeth?
Why limit yourself to a body?
Because a mind can't exist without it. All my advanced intelligence sensory perception came from having a physical form that evolved as quickly as I could.
Another thing that happens quickly in this movie is the delivery of conclusive statements that use big words but create more questions than answers in an attempt to move on before we think too hard about anything.
Everyone keeps trying to tell me you're nothing more than a bunch of ones and zeros. And the only way I could deal with what I did to you was to believe that they were right.
I mean, you could counter that with the idea that humans are just biological ones and zeros. Our attachments are driven by our own evolutionary need for community, which is a type of programming. You might even believe a higher power programmed you to feel a certain way. Anyhow, this movie could explore those things, but that wouldn't have left much time for those sweet, sweet BattleBot scenes that are coming.
Oh, of course, why wouldn't she have that?
The movie thinks Cole being excellent at CinemaSins will excuse it from the bullshit that is Megan having all that.
I want to be taller.
Asking for this instead of digitigrade locomotion so you could run faster and jump higher.
Megan, if anyone recognized you...
Change my face and I'll change yours.
The movie knows it needs to keep Megan's face for the branding of it all, but then also acknowledges how batshit insane that is in reality. What does a non-sweating robot need a towel for?
I want you to know. I see you.
Ah, kill it now!
They were so intrigued by the robot's cognitive abilities that they kept the motherboard under lock and key, allowing it to grow exponentially smarter in the process.
It sounds like they are saying that the motherboard got exponentially smarter in isolation, and to that I say, f***ing how?
This is an AI-rendered hallucination.
My 6-word review for M3GAN 2.0 somehow ends up in the movie M3GAN 2.0.
If Amelia frees the motherboard, it would be like unleashing a god.
Motherbox Allspark Tesseract Ripoff says what? Also, quick question. Why would a god need to be freed at all? This line is clearly meant to make me afraid of the motherboard, but in reality, it's just throwing shade at gods. And I'm guessing they would consider that a sin.
It would infect everything on the planet all at once, creating infinite versions of itself as it systematically destroys every living thing that stands in its way.
So I'm good then? Unless it interprets eating junk food and watching movies all day as a threat, right?
She has her phone's tapped. She has access to every camera in the city.
So why does she need to go to this f***ing summit? In a matter of seconds, Amelia can scan all the cameras and find where Christian is or was at any point in the day. Unless he's spending his entire day in a f***ing lead box with no internet access.
Each of these sidearms is loaded with 6 non-lethal EMP rounds.
Which are suddenly a thing and couldn't have possibly been established earlier as a weapon developed in the wake of the first Megan incident.
Sorry if this is a dumb question, but how is the world's most notorious killer robot supposed to get into an AI convention without people noticing?
That is a dumb question. You just manufactured an advanced AI body with all the tactical bells and whistles, and yet you can't imagine your way into one of those glasses with the fake nose and mustache attached to it?
I take almost no pleasure in this.
Why the f*** is she stealing a disguise at the convention? They had what appeared to be unlimited resources, and yet they decided the best course of action was to sneak into the convention and steal someone else's disguise. She could have cosplayed as a literal Teletubby and been perfectly fine. All is possible through random USB witchcraft.
He's got some sort of EMF tracker.
I wouldn't worry. For some reason, it's limited to the 180-degree field of vision in front of him. As long as you stay right behind him, you'll be fine.
Megan, get down!
Why would she get down after going through all this effort of accidentally yet perfectly positioning herself for another dance number? Also, the dance in the first movie was creepy, eerie, and the fact that it was unnecessary and out of the blue added to the creep factor. This, on the other hand, feels like Bart attempting to bring back I Ripped My Pants long after the joke was done. Also 2.0. My issue with this movie has nothing to do with how much fun it is, because it is a lot of fun. It's just that they have ruined a perfectly good and menacing villain because they wanted her to be the protagonist. It's like taking Heath Ledger's Joker and trying to make me sympathize with him. It's not even the same character now, and he's played by Joaquin Phoenix.
There's no nutritional value to an eggplant.
Even a cursory search of the interwebs casts doubt on this statement to the point that I have no idea why it was even put in the movie. As a joke, it's not even funny. Well, unless he's talking about his dick. But then it's just gross. People at an Embrace AI conference wouldn't be freaked out by this. They'd all cheer and say, damn, that's some really good AI. So EMP bullets can be dodged? Why would something with pulse in the description be so easily dodged? And why did no one make the small leap to an EMP grenade?
If I was a Chinese asset, why is the Chinese ambassador lying dead on the floor?
Because you're not a very good Chinese asset?
You sacrificed Kitty's safety for this chambray shirt-wearing bag.
It seemed like you had the shot. You just didn't want to take it.
This is some absolute cherry-picking nonsense. Gemma is conveniently ignoring all the people that were running in front of Megan that this freeze frame conveniently doesn't know.
The photocopier company?
Is it that hard to believe? The company that started the tech race in the 80s happens to be a fortified prison for the most dangerous technology on the planet?
Yes, it is, in fact, hard to believe.
The vault that holds the chip is several floors down. Every floor is heavily guarded.
It appears that the motherboard is located at the end of a multi-level heist situation, almost as if it was designed for the climax of a movie.
It's a vault inside of a vault, designed for a specific heat signature.
Make me a hand that mimics the heat signature.
Would that work?
If it had my fingerprints, yeah.
Wait, that's like the designer of a bank vault having access to the bank vault they designed just because they designed it. I don't allow the designer of my underwear to have access to my vaulted things.
The ventilation system has about 4...
Why is he helping? Like, he's actually helping them. Since they didn't have any of this information before, this could be head-to-toe lies. But he is actually giving them good intel. Sure, they lose radios in the middle of the heist, but mostly it goes belly up because Cole accidentally chloroforms himself.
I don't know why I could never connect with her. Megan, please don't take this to the chorus.
Gemma attempting to cut short what is objectively the funniest and funnest scene in the entire goddamn movie, forcing me into a backhanded compliment instead of a full and well-deserved sin removal for this woman's work.
What I need is the machine that is willing to stop at nothing to protect Katie.
Well, shit, if the chip was that easy to pull out, why the f couldn't Megan have done it herself?
Like the Ethernet cable, the mouse, and this.
Excitement? Christian described this place as a prison, and no one on the team thought it was odd that they would be able to chloroform someone in the lobby and not get caught. This was obviously a setup from the beginning, and a tech people have no street smarts cliche. Megan Impossible 2.0 networking protocol. Also, I bet you'll spot a climate change denying Yeti carrying a pet chupacabra screaming about the fake moon landing before you find a bathroom with one of these floor-level, mythical human-sized catacombs of convenience. When your Uncanny Valley character is jumping into a literal Uncanny Valley, I have to wonder if it was worth the processing power and overworked CG team to pull it off. Also, what the hell is she even reaching for here? Clearly it's meant to be something that deploys the squirrel suit, but it looks like she reaches back, grabs at nothing in particular, and then wings? Almost as if this would be taken at face value and not screenshotted to death by a frame-by-frame nitpicker. This asshole literally chloroforms himself, and it won't matter a single f***ing bit. This scene exists purely to show that the world will continue to spin on, even if the clinically incompetent are its only defense. Megan attacks this guard by running on all fours like she attacked that kid in the first movie. And it feels like going to your favorite restaurant and the owner saying, yes, I remember what made us great, but we've decided to change everything except the garlic bread, so f*** you.
You were the one controlling Amelia. You were behind all of this?
A shocking twist that only surprised an elderly couple in Nebraska who just recently decided to try this whole moving picture thing.
Every subroutine strictly supervised to prevent any chance of true autonomy. Hey, Antoine, she's drifting again. You want to get on top of that?
Why are we visually noticing that the deadly AI is drifting instead of that setting off an alarm of some sort because a computer is monitoring that shit?
Amelia was the only way the world would realize that if we don't end AI, it's going to end us.
So you created the worst case scenario in order to prevent the worst case scenario? Movie thinks it wants to be Oppenheimer, but has no clue what an Oppenheimer actually is.
Every time someone makes a technological breakthrough, whether it's a driverless cab or a neural implant.
You know, Shakespeare would set his critiques of the royal family in far-off places like Italy, so that the English monarchy wouldn't know he was talking shit about them and confiscate his tea bags. This movie just spells that shit out, and while I may or may not agree with the sentiment, my eyes rolling all the way back into my head suggests there are more creative ways to make the point that I may or may not agree with. Allegedly.
I'm gonna have to kill Cole and Tess, though. I don't really get what they do.
This guy acts like he doesn't currently have employees that report to him, not because he doesn't get the concept, but because the movie needs him to be extra evil all of a sudden.
Cole? How'd you get in here?
Idiotic, blind, undeserved, moronic, irritating, dumb f***ing luck, it would seem.
If we reset her base code, then I can pair with her. She'll be on our side and can help us escape and rescue Tess and Gemma. This is our only chance.
Katie is acting like she can say this with any level of confidence, when a few seconds ago, she also said,
You're gonna need to knock someone out and steal their key card.
why is punching a nerd no longer an option? Tech nerds who are working on a top-secret AI project who still use the post-it note encryption method to keep their login details secure. No one who has eyes for a living sees these two fuck around with the android on a pedestal that they're all supposed to be monitoring. M3GAN was designed to be a kid's toy that paired to a specific child's needs, but Amelia is meant to be a point-and-shoot tactical nuke on legs. Why would Amelia Battle Angel still have the software and hardware to support this feature? I'm gonna have to walk myself through this, so please stick with me here. Katie reboots Amelia, which turns her back into M3GAN. The Christian Corps zap her to death, which reboots her into Amelia, but it also activates a program that allows her to be fully autonomous and overrides all of her behavioral locks. It's quite clear that this robot was programmed by a screenwriter, and not anyone whose goal was to actually keep it under control. For some reason, they all decide to stop zapping her while she attempts to get back on her feet, and not a single person seems to think it would be a good idea to get one of those many zappy guns we saw the first guy fail to use. During the whole Gemma is unconscious, so M3GAN has to drive fight, there is nothing supporting Gemma's neck. The sin is equal parts her surviving this, and how she is going to feel when she wakes up tomorrow morning. You know, because of the way Gemma's hair is covering her face, you could switch her out with a stunt double and I would never notice, thus robbing me of the opportunity to work said artifact into a facetiously ignorant sin about obvious stunt double switcheroos. It's official. The editing has been upgraded.
You could say, she's hard to kill.
Wait.
If I were to make an executive decision,
don't you dare.
No one is above the law.
She did it! She stole my joke from Under Siege!
Look, by all accounts, Ryback is exactly the patriot any country's attack force should be pleased to have. Okay, he's not above the law, but by all accounts, the man has clearly been marked for death, while on dangerous ground on multiple occasions, and has reacted with maximum conviction, remaining hard to kill and relying on his code of honor to ensure victory is always out of reach of America's enemies. And you know what? All it would take is an executive decision to give this mercenary absolution.
This means war, M3GAN 2.0. I'm a dangerous man, and you just got pistol whipped. However, I referenced far more movies and have therefore won by attrition. Y'all just have to take that gut shot and get used to calling me General Commander from here onwards. After all, I am the perfect weapon in these situations, a force of execution, if you will, that is only satisfied once true justice is served. Cockpuncher. I'm no hairstylist, but it always feels odd to me that the battle-f***ed version of M3GAN's hair always seems to be considerably shorter and an entirely different color.
Maybe you're the thing that's not like us. Maybe your allegiance to them has made you weak.
Well, there's really only one way to find out.
A balanced theological discussion regarding the merits of nature versus nurture and how it pertains to the development of AI, and they're already solving this through robot foo, aren't they? I get being able to override what a human body would usually be able to do, but I don't know how they're overriding what physics would usually be able to do. Ah, yes, access to all-knowing AI means glowing eyeballs?
M3GAN, I know. You're not that person anymore.
You mean the person she was a few hours ago? Because she was very willing to believe that you were behind all this, and that only changed because Christiane admitted to being the villain.
I'm not doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because it's right.
This self-sacrifice is on for all the some time, just to resurrect M3GAN for like the 5th time in this movie before the credits even roll.
We can't expect the best from AI unless we set the best example.
Finding the most passive-aggressive way to say we're all f***ed.
You are superior in only one respect. You are better at dying.
Behind!
What you just saw was not only a test of our technological prowess, but a clear message to our enemies.
It's not like we could handcuff him to his locker and make him love us.
Hell yeah, we should get some road beers.
And that's how she met Chris Jones.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
I'd like to present to you our flagship invention.
He's a self-hating white guy.
I get it.
The Samsonite people are thrilled.
Do I make you horny, baby? Do I? Do I make you randy?
All right, if Megan is going to compete with Amelia, she's going to need reinforced carbon nanofibers, high-density ultracapacitors.
If we have to, overnight parts from Japan.
I do want you to know that I have a yeast infection on my vagina.
I came down with a big old Diane yeast infection.
All you have to do is stay with us.
I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
There is no pain, only soul.